And in the spirit of Halloween, we have some super creepy Halloween facts. Okay, so right now we're going to check out the name Halloween, which means All Hallows Eve, or the night before All Hallows, All Hallows Mass, All Saints, or All Souls Day, which is observed on November 1st. Here's another creepy story that helps emphasize why people think that Halloween is such a dark and spooky day. It was thought that on November 1st, the disembodied spirits from the people who had died the preceding year were looking for bodies to possess for the next year, almost being the only hope for the afterlife. The Celts believed that the laws of space and time didn't exist on this day, so this was the only time that the spirit world can intermingle with the living. Naturally, the living didn't want to be possessed, so the townspeople on October 31st put out all the fires in their homes, making it cold and undesirable. Then they would dress up in silly costumes and parade around obnoxiously throughout the towns, trying to scare away the evil spirits so they wouldn't get possessed. Another interesting fact having to do with Halloween is the custom of trick-or-treating. Now, this didn't originate from the Irish Celts like the other custom. Instead, it originated in the 9th century in Europe. Now, the Europeans actually called this souling. And what would happen was on November 2nd, early Christians would go from house to house asking for soul cake. Now, the soul cake was made out of these little bread squares with currants on them. And what would happen was the more soul cake that the Christians received, the more prayer that the donors would receive for their dead relatives or whoever that they wanted them to pray for, because it was thought that the spirits remained in limbo and needed help to get to heaven. And this would happen through prayer. So, why is another reason why we wear Halloween costumes today? Well, in the old days, the evening of Halloween, people would leave food on their doorstep to give to the hungry spirits, and this would kind of prevent the spirits from entering their home. Then, festival goers were actually dressed up in ghost, witches, and ghoul costumes and dance around trying to scare away those spirits. And to this day, those are still some of our most popular costumes. Ever wonder why we carve faces into pumpkins? Well, the whole jack-o'-lantern custom probably started from this Irish folktale. And the folktale goes like this. There was a man named Jack, and he was a bit of a drunk and a trickster. Well, one night he actually tricked Satan into climbing up a tree. Then Jack actually carved a cross in the trunk of the tree, trapping Satan in it. So then Jack decided to make a deal with the devil. He agreed to help Satan come down from the tree if he promised not to tempt him anymore. So then, as the folklore continues, Jack eventually died. But he wasn't allowed access into heaven because of all of his evil ways. But he also wasn't allowed access into hell because of, obviously, he tricked Satan. So, what the devil decided to do was he gave him this little ember just to light his way through the darkness. But what he did was he stuck it inside a hollowed out turnip so that keeps the light going longer.